Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Your KMA crew, the Italian Scallion, Paul DeGracco, Alex Tavella, a.k.a. The Goat, and always telling it like it is, Honest Abe.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning to all our loyal listeners, libertarians, and lovers of the leaf. I am your host, Honest Abe, from KMA Talk Radio, episode number 424 on this fine Saturday morning. We are broadcasting from sunny South Florida, And I'm with my always trusted cohorts, the Italian scallion himself, Paul DeGracco, and none other than the man they call the GOAT, Alex Tavella. Every time I introduce you, I'm tempted to pronounce your name wrong on purpose.
You'll pronounce it wrong anyway.
Oh,
I don't.
He's got.
He's teasing. He's teasing.
Fancy.
Bam.
He's teasing.
Is this your first time smoking it?
It is not. I
No.
mean, we smoked the prototypes and whatnot, but
Samples.
Yeah.
Samples.
uh,
Press release will be going out later this week. Obviously, we'll make sure that William Cooper gets his first. But we are very excited about this 17th installment. 16th? 16th.
I think we said 17th,
16th, 17th, I forget.
16th, 17th.
Installment of our microblend series. Yeah, it is 17th. Our 17th installment of our microblend series. Very proud to have worked with AJ Fernandez on this project. And press release will be out next week. Look for it at the end of this month. My man Alex and I are going to smoke one of these. And Paul, since you suck, you don't get any.
I actually have a bunch of cigars with me for my trip.
I told Paul,
That was
Alex,
a good idea.
I told Paul yesterday, Alex, that his days of COVID living is over as far as KMA is concerned.
Somebody has to housebreak him. Somebody has to just do it.
This crap is over. After he gets back from this trip he's going away on, we're having KMA meetings back here in Boynton Beach once a week. This call in whenever he's hectic and busy during the day is done. And you're going to have to find a way to get into a studio or get somewhere because this bedroom broadcast days,
I'm in an office now.
I don't care where you are.
An office.
The bedroom, it's Christmas there. What's with the Christmas lights?
I'm in my, so we wanted to get all the kids together. My cousins all have kids. But we're up in Albany, New York, and they have this big, massive house here. So this is just one of like the 5 bedrooms upstairs. That's kind of like an office. It's got a desk and everything. So I don't know why there's Christmas lights in here. I mean, nobody lives in here anymore. It's their whole house is empty.
Nobody's lived in there since Christmas 1972, it looks like.
I don't know. I thought it would be better to have them on than off. At least there's, a little something to look at rather than just me.
Fucking William Cooper Disney Studios. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be great. If we could get the budget to have me in Disney every weekend, that'd be great.
Your bedroom broadcast days are coming to an end, Paul. Relish, enjoy it. After that, it's back to the real deal.
I get to get out of the house, you're saying, right?
You say that, but you never get out. You know how many times he's texted me, dude, can we do something? I need to get out of the house. Can we please? And he never does it. He never leaves.
I've come to your house like
you're gonna be. Oh, I'm gonna stop by the shop tonight. Never shows up.
Yeah, never shows up.
First of all, that's not what happens with Alex. With Alex, I'll say to him, "Hey, man, you gonna be over at West Palm tonight, or are you gonna be over at Boynton?" And he won't answer me. And then at like 9:30 at night, he'd be like, "What happened to you? You didn't show up."
Listen, I had this same conversation with Abe yesterday. Okay, it's very simple. If I don't respond, assume it's a yes. Assume I got it.
I don't like that method, but
I get it.
Whatever.
I agree. I'm not saying it's the perfect method, but it's my method. If I don't
like that method either.
I think all communication requires a courtesy response. I don't give a fuck if it's a thumbs up. I got it.
Yeah. I just assume if you don't answer, I assume it's a no.
No, it's the opposite.
That's weird.
It's the opposite.
It must be a South Philly thing.
I mean, I got stuff going on, man. I don't got time to find fucking thumbs up emojis and shit. It's
Shit, I got stuff going on.
I got it.
So where are you now, Paul?
Are you on the island?
I'm in upstate New York for the weekend, so our kids can get with all our cousins' kids and have a good time. So we are just outside of Albany. I think we're technically in Guilderland or Schenectady or I don't know what, maybe Altamont, somewhere around there. Oh,
So
Well, I
wait,
do that.
wait,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So you drive up and then make your way back down, kind of to the Hamptons or east.
we don't live in. We don't go to the Hamptons.
Stop.
We go to the South Shore of Long Island.
Stop
It's slightly. It's like the middle of the island. It's like the right in the. We will go to the Hamptons. We don't go to the Hamptons. We go to Montauk. The Hamptons are too crowded these days. But if you go out to Montauk, it's still like the old, like the East End used to be. The Hamptons, when I was a kid, there were a lot of rich people there, but it wasn't this like celebrity club scene and all that. Like now it's a lot different now. When I was a kid, the Hamptons were the Hamptons. It was great, and not everybody went out there.
The Hamptons were the Hamptons.
If there's any Long Islanders on watching the show right now, they'll know what I mean. The difference between the Hamptons now and the Hamptons 20 years ago was a big difference. But yeah, we spend a lot of time on both forks, on the North Fork and the South Fork when we're here. I want the kids to grow up seeing where we grew up. It's a great place to live, man. It's just crazy expensive.
Well, I can't say the same about where I grew up.
Don't you want your son to see where you grew up?
Not quite. No,
not at this age. He's got to be a little bit older.
He's not really missing much in the land of South Philadelphia, so he'll be a Florida boy.
Good food, though.
Good food, yeah, good food, but good food, good heroin, good crack cocaine. I mean, it's okay.
Has he ever been?
He has been. He's been when we were young. We did the whole tour. We did the whole tour, but he was a little young. I mean, we'll get up there. He'd get up. I don't go home very often at all. I don't think I've been home in like 4 years.
Is your family up there?
Yeah, they are. I live in Florida. I mean,
they just visit you?
Yeah, they'll come visit here, but I mean, it just kind of makes sense that who wants to go to Philadelphia? Wouldn't you rather come to Florida?
Everybody goes to Florida.
You know what I mean? Shit. Let's take a vacation to Philadelphia.
We did school trips to Philadelphia. Isn't the Benjamin Franklin Museum there or something?
Yes, the Ben Franklin Museum is there.
That place is awesome. I remember going there a few times as a kid.
It is. No, the Ben Franklin Museum is the Franklin Institute, actually, as it's called, it's a museum, but it's very interactive. So that's a fun place. I took my kid there.
I do gotta say this cigar's tasting phenomenal right off the bat.
Yeah.
And
I love the branding.
The
branding is so cool.
For the first time ever, a Smoke Inn microblend release will be released in 2 formats at the same time. We couldn't decide. That's really what happened.
Yeah.
We asked for it to be box pressed. They sent us samples in Figurado round and box pressed, and we said, "Fuck it, we're doing both."
Oh, that's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah.
And
Coop will have the scoop in the middle of next week, 100%.
But I'll tell you, and I haven't been too involved in a lot of the micro blends, but for this one, I mean, we really sat down and we just said, like, this is kind of what we're looking for. Boom, boom. And they brought it back, and it was boom, boom, exactly what we had in mind as far as the cigar. I mean, really
that's what they do best, right? I mean, it's
well,
awesome working with.
It was really funny because we were talking with Omar, and I don't want to get too into it because we'll talk about it later. But when we told Omar, it's like he's like AJ doesn't like to be told what to do. I mean, like literally, like I don't, we'll throw it at him, and next thing you know, he sent us back samples, and he said that not only did he taste it, he loved it. He kind of teased, and he said that maybe we should become blenders. We're like, yeah, okay. we'll take our one at bat.
Right.
We'll take our one at bat and walk away.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Time to retire.
Did you mention like types of tobacco or types
specifically?
Of you just said, you did
Specifically, yes. Yeah.
See, but you guys have enough history in this, especially Abe. Like you know what.
Yeah, but we kind of concocted something, like we took bits of stuff we liked and kind of Frankensteined it, and we had no idea whether it would work or not, dude.
Yeah,
we have no idea of how different tobaccos work together. I'm not that literate, leaf literate. That's a new word, leaf literate.
Leaf literate. That's actually good.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness, they could have came back to us and said, "Listen, that it sounds great, but that's totally not going to work." And it's
right. That's stupid.
It's not what you have, and what you think is going to. But no, it came back.
Yeah,
exactly what we were looking for.
That's going to be so rewarding.
It's the funnest part of my job.
Yeah,
coming up with projects like this. Yeah. Or just whatever we do, promotions and whatever, even KMA Radio. This is a great outlet for us. It's literally the funnest part of what we do.
My problem is going to be I don't know which one I'm going to lean more to.
I'm feeling the box press.
I really liked the box press. I did.
I'm feeling
the way it felt, but I'm smoking this now. Now I really like this.
Does it smoke? Does it really smoke that much? That different?
I can't remember now because honestly, when we had done this, it had been 4 months ago?
Yeah.
5 months ago. So this is literally like the first cigar I've had since 4 months ago. So
we
smoked the two side by side. before,
Right.
but I can't remember, to be honest.
I tend to go towards box pressed only for like stupid reasons, though. Like I just like the way it feels in my hand and my mouth. Like I just like
that was our request, and then he tortured us by sending us it in 2 formats.
Right.
That's cool though. I mean, I like the idea of doing both. So people can choose from either the box press or the round cigar.
No, Paul. So people can buy both.
Well, I'm saying there's not like a mixed pack of box press.
No.
And
No. Yeah.
What I can't wait for is the only differentiating factor between the 2 packages is that word right there,
Literally.
round and box pressed. I've already told my shipping guys, you better read it 1,000 times.
Oh no, yeah.
before you put it in a shipping box.
Oh geez. Alex is gonna have to make like big signs over the boxes, with these are round, these are box press.
Bro, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised the skill for somebody to mess something up.
Well, good thing you have Italo back because he'll catch that.
Yeah.
The man is back.
They'll separate orders and probably fill 2 different boxes with one with box, big boxes with box press packs. And
I got to tell you what, though, I'm big props to. Hey, listen, I always say that a time of crisis is when the cream rises to the top. It's always been the case, right?
Yeah.
And I got to say big props to Gary Brock in our shipping department. Man.
Yes.
He only had one little almost mini meltdown, but he rose to the occasion, man. Rallied the troops. They worked hard. We got inundated. We really do. I mean, we are beyond the need for any kind of warehouse. It's unbelievable. And I honestly, we got the best patrons in Boynton Beach, because let me tell you something. They haven't had a half a store for like months now. Literally. I mean, and what's even crazy is these last 2 weeks, not only are they doing this side, but I've been seeing them unboxing orders coming in by the bar now.
Right.
Oh,
so they're fulfilling orders in the back side, and then all the new product from UPS
receiving on the other half of the shop. I mean, literally,
to put it.
Our lounge has become like, these people are sitting there having cocktails and smoking cigars. They may as well be sitting in a warehouse, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
it's sad.
It's just like a high-end warehouse right now.
Our listen to me. I've prided myself. When I say pride, I mean like utter pride. And Paul, you've been around long enough to know.
Oh yeah.
Unless it's like a display, like a purposely made display, there is never a box of cigars on the floor in our humidor.
Right.
Like never. We find ways to put it away. We stock it up. We stack to the ceiling. Everything is like picturesque, Tetris, perfect.
Yep.
And like when I walk into our humidor now, it's like I want to cry.
Yeah.
And there's nothing I could say.
There's
nothing I could do.
There's more product on the floor than a lot of shops probably
have altogether.
Right, stock.
I mean, literally, it's in disarray. I mean, we have meetings every Wednesday to see how the warehouse, the walls are up. They were finishing drywall, but
well, that's a plus.
Yeah, it's. I have a timeline that was given to us at the beginning, and they're already looking like they're 2 weeks behind the timeline. But who the hell knows?
Our friend Austin from Good Greek Moving was there yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, it didn't faze me. Our customers are awesome. I mean, they really is. No one's been bitching. No one's been complaining. And in my opinion, they got it right. I mean, it's not a lounge,
Right.
They're just in the mix of it, having fun, in awe of what's going on. So,
plus it's got, what, your staff is so personable, though. In all honesty, I mean, that's one of the things that I think you pride yourself with. People like having them out there, and instead of being in the back, like it's nice to sit there and chit chat with them, BS and smoke a cigar, and have AJ and Italo out there shooting the shit with everybody. It's always a good vibe there, like it's not awkward to have them out there.
Well, bodies now are finally coming out of the woodwork for jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just starting. Really, it's just starting. People are showing up for interviews. I'm elated. We hired 2 new bartenders. I watched them the last 2 nights in West Palm Beach. All stars. I mean, they are great, personable, nice. I mean, it's been hard. It's been hard. It's not just hard for us. It's been hard everywhere I've gone. I've seen, I mean, everybody's problem is they can't find people who want to work these days. And at least in the state of Florida, it's looking like it's starting to turn a little bit, which will be good.
Yeah, I mean, we offer sales positions at my day job for for remote working now. So we can, pull from all over the country, and we've still had a really hard time.
It's crazy.
I don't know what it is.
But it's funny because what's interesting, even with the 2 new bartenders, we're still not really finding people that aren't working that are looking to come back to work. It's people working that want more work.
Right. You're absolutely right. Very few people are coming across.
Yeah, I'm not working right now.
Unemployed. You're absolutely
they're like,
right.
I got a job. I want to fill more hours in.
Yeah, it's insane.
They're the go-getters.
They are the go-getters.
Listen, I want to bring one thing up before we bring our guest on.
Is it about Disney?
What's that?
Is it about Disney?
No.
Okay.
Alex and I talked about this the other day, but what is Steve Saka doing torturing the people of Nicaragua, taking all these pictures?
Steve Saka is having his fun.
These poor people. They probably have no idea what they're doing.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, I don't know what Steve's Spanish is like, but some sort of here, hold this and take a picture. Okay.
Right.
Well, we'll see. But Saka's having his fun. When is his return? When is his triumphant return?
Who knows? He's busy making ashtrays. He's busy making ashtrays now.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you see?
I made a post. I made a post. Fuck your ashtrays. Fulfill our orders. Seriously. Jesus Christ.
He's got people carving.
Listen to me.
With machetes.
You can.
Yes.
There is a melodrama with every mug, ashtray, swag. Is like he can make an ornate process, a book about all the trials and tribulations about the hardest to make swag ever in the history of any organization or business. Did you see his ashtray post?
Oh yeah. Did you see the video?
This thing is stone. It weighs 1,000 pounds. Shipping is gonna kill me. What am I thinking?
Well, I've been waiting for that other ashtray for the last year. That glass ashtray that he showed prototypes of, which is a cool looking ashtray. He's like, it's not ready yet. It'll be ready when I'm ready. When I feel that the DTT brand is represented correctly.
When he takes a tuning fork and he hits the ashtray and it resonates at the right frequency. Yeah, that's when it'll be ready.
That's the problem right now. That's where he's stuck at on
that's when it'll be ready.
It's so funny. But yeah, I mean, I saw those posts and I was just thinking in my head, God, I hope you guys didn't put like something awful in that envelope. Then all these people were holding it.
Maybe.
We'll find out upon his triumphant return to Rome. We'll find out.
So I got to talk about the pink peanut, right? So there's things like this phenomenon has started in our social group, our Facebook Smoke Inn social group, where and I'm just letting people know outright, it has nothing to do with us.
Totally.
There's just like a random pink peanut in the. I don't know, how big is that bag? What size do they call that bag of peanuts?
I don't know, but it's about. I'm 5'6".
It's about as tall as you.
Yeah, it's almost as tall as me.
Literally, it's like a 5 foot bag that you put on the ground,
and like
4.5
3
feet
wide.
Yeah, it's a huge bag. Yeah. So there's a random pink peanuts in them every now and then. So the phenomenon now is people are actually emptying out their shipments looking for the pink peanut. So now we've decided to start messing with them, and we literally bought a bag of green peanuts and we throw a random green peanut in,
which may or may not mean something.
Which may or may not mean something every now and then.
I wouldn't throw them away.
But wait, I'll tell you something funny. One of our socialites photoshopped to make it look like he got a green peanut. That's how insane it's getting. Tim had all these, but we know it's not the real green.
The green peanut is a different.
It's a different shape. So he literally photoshopped it to make it look like everybody had. I thought it was hilarious. The extent that now they're going to have a colored peanut in their shipment. Does that happen?
It is very strange. I've seen a lot of that. So you bought the green peanuts because I thought I've seen that before though.
No, we literally brought the green peanuts and randomly we'll throw one in a package here and there. And if I was a consumer, I may save them. You know, there may be something like if you collect 10 or 20 of them, there may be something cool for you. Maybe, maybe not. I like to be mystic sometimes, mysterious.
A stone ashtray?
Yeah. Collect 25 peanuts. We'll send you a stone ashtray.
We'll have Saka ship it to you, actually.
Yeah, direct.
400.
It costs more to ship it than it does to make it, I'm sure.
Yeah, for a guy that paints himself over everything he does, he sure does a lot of stuff, that Saka.
He does. He's a character.
Busy boy.
I think he said he was flying back this week, Alex. So because he was going to get his COVID test yesterday. So when he comes back, I'm looking forward to it.
If he was getting his test yesterday, I think he's got like a 3-day window to return or something, right?
Fucking
yeah. So he may be in our area or your area, because that's usually flies into Miami like everybody else, right?
Right. Right.
So maybe you can do it live,
or maybe he can do it live. We'll see.
Well, I don't know if he knows how to do it.
He does.
Whenever he does live,
he does. He's live 6 days a week in some form or other.
He's got his little brick studio in his basement.
Right.
Yeah, but every time he's done like Dunbarton reveals and things like that, he has Kevin Shahan help him out with it.
Ah.
I'm telling you, I don't know if he knows how to do it.
Well, he'll figure it out, or he'll just torture us and we'll figure it out for him.
Oh, man. Well, anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure everybody else is. But another thing I'm looking forward to is meeting a first-time guest on the show.
I love first-time guests on the show.
They're all first-timers for me.
Most of them are first-time first. But
not now. Now you've had some duplicates, I think.
A little bit. I've had one duplicate.
You've been with us over a year officially on the show, right?
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's been that long.
Oh, okay. Well, close.
We're getting there.
We got to get Lars Teton back on for Alex.
That was my official.
That was his cherry popping.
Yes.
I wasn't there for that one.
Yes, Paul was actually. I didn't know that it was a precursor of what was to come, but Paul was in Disney at that time.
By the way,
on the show.
I don't think I was in Disney.
You can't deny it. You can't prove it.
It's a 50-50 shot. He's right, Paul.
It's 80-20. I think 50-50 is really.
But I do want to put something out there, little teaser, because I'm not William Cooper. So this year is our 10th anniversary, our 10th year of KMA Talk Radio. So obviously we
cannot believe that.
I know. And by the way, big news for all our long time. Let me pull up the picture. For all our long time fans who've really been following us from early on when we were Kiss My Ash Radio. Our dearest and one of our original hosts, Lady M, has dropped her second baby this morning.
Oh, she did. Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Congratulations, M.
Lady M.
I saw she was going in last night. I saw the post. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Lady M has dropped her second child. I believe that her name is Coco. So congratulations, Miss Beautiful Lady M. I'm so happy for you. What a blessing for you guys. And I even actually I was talking with her this morning.
Oh, good.
I think we're going to do a, Where is Lady M Now episode.
Yeah,
bring her back on to talk about where she's gone since she's left KMA Talk Radio.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, she's excited about it, actually.
She posted a video of her walking into the hospital.
I saw it.
And she looked gorgeous. I couldn't get over it.
And I voted no that she wasn't going to have the baby.
You did? I think I voted yes. I
voted no. She's 2 weeks early.
That's okay. I mean, it's her second baby, so
I know
it's more likely that the baby would be early. I think on your second.
So for our listeners who don't know, Lady M was one of the original 3 hosts of KMA Talk Radio, and as far as I'm concerned, the only female host we had. We tried replacing her with I think multiple people, which didn't work out, and then we said, "Fuck it, we'll just use Paul."
Multiple.
It's kind of literally what happened.
No.
It's kind of literally what happened.
I guess it was. I mean, I was on the show. I was on the show in the background.
You were producing in the background, acting like a producer. And then when we couldn't replace her, we said, "Fuck it, we're just gonna make Paul a regular."
We tried so hard. We had a lot of lovely ladies.
A lot of lovely ladies. None of them really made the cut.
It's more like we're just.
I remember that weird transition of.
So, on the 10th anniversary. We haven't finalized a date because we're trying to work around Paul's bachelorette, baby shower, wedding, sister-in-law having a baby, work trip, every other thing he's got going on in his life schedule. But it's going to be in the next few months. We will be doing, and for anyone who's in the Florida or Tampa area especially, we will be doing our 10th anniversary celebration from the J.C. Newman factory live. They will be selling tickets to the event. Tickets will include some cigars. Come and watch a show. It'll include the factory tour if you haven't done it. And we'll have a little celebration of KMA's 10 years of broadcasting fun and news every Saturday morning now for a decade plus.
That's crazy.
So stay tuned, and especially if you're in Tampa, it's right in your backyard. We'll be there. As soon as we finalize all the news, we'll get it out there.
Wow, I can't wait. That was so cool when you told me about it.
Yeah. The Newmans will be on. We're going to have all the Newmans, Drew, Bobby, Eric, they'll all be on. So it should be a very, very cool episode. And I think it's the first time. I think we might have had one of the Newmans on once.
Yeah, we had Bobby on
once.
He called.
It'll definitely be the first time for Eric and Drew. And, it should be a fantastic show. So I'm happy we didn't really get to have a 400th episode celebration because of COVID. So I'm happy we're able to do this 10-year celebration right.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, we may have, listen, people can fly in for it too, right? They can buy tickets. So, I mean, it might be worth coming.
Might be worth seeing Paul live in a dress.
Listen, if we sell the event out, I would consider maybe wearing a dress briefly.
I think it'll sell out because I'm not sure how much room they have there to do a live audience.
I've never been. Okay.
Yeah, they got some third floor that they kind of have their own studios in, but we're piecing it all together. The folks at JC Newman are awesome. Drew Newman called me yesterday. Everybody's kind of excited about this. We're just trying to finalize that date because so much stuff is going on this year. It's crazy. So we'll get it together, but I'm very excited about it.
Very cool.
All right. Well, I think it's that time, Paulie.
All right. We're going to bring on a first-time guest to KMA. Here we go.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
And now for the first time on KMA Talk Radio, Mr. Benjamin Holt from Dissident Cigars. Ben, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you, man?
Doing all right. Enjoying the finally beautiful Texas weather.
Texas. Everybody seems to be in Texas. Texas is becoming its little own like cigar mecca.
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of cigar shops here, great communities all over, big cities. So they've all kind of cultivated great cigar followings in this.
What area of Texas are you in?
Right by Fort Worth.
Okay, yeah, I've been there many times. Fort Worth, especially, actually, that whole area, there's a lot of cigar shops. I've traveled there for work a few times and definitely enjoyed some cigars there.
Yeah, the DFW Metroplex, there's a high concentration. I think it has the highest concentration of cigar shops in the state.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that.
So, Ben, being that it's your first time on KMA, some of our listeners may not know your brand or your history. Why don't you start out with just telling us a little bit about your history and how you got into the cigar business up until where you're at today?
Yeah, I first got into cigars when I was in the Marine Corps, when I was deployed to Iraq.
Thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you. And, enjoyed cigars on my downtime with some of the guys there. And then when I got out of the Marine Corps, I not too long after I moved to Texas, went to college and worked at a cigar shop. So I was in retail.
Which shop was it?
TJ's Cigar Lounge right outside of Waco, Texas.
Okay.
Lived there for a while, worked there for quite a bit. And that's where I kind of started really getting my feet wet a little bit in the industry and got to meet a lot of new people in the industry through my knowledge. And then from there, I became a rep for a Black Label trading company for a number of years for this territory down here. And I was worked for them for about 5 years or so as a rep. And then the opportunity came to move over to a brand owner position.
How did that opportunity, I mean, that's a big step. I mean, how did that opportunity arise?
With Black Label, there's Black Label and then there's Black Works and there's Emilio that we had in that group. And we've always talked about adding another brand, but I was kind of looking around. I wanted to do more in the industry. I had a lot of ideas and I would go down to Nicaragua constantly and play with tobacco and blend. And I really fell in love with that process of cigar blending and, kind of became a tobacco nerd. And I approached the guys that owned Dissident because Dissident was a brand that was out there before. But when the FDA bomb dropped, they kind of ceased operations.
Who was running Dissident?
The two guys that were managing it was Gordon and Ryan out of Wichita. They worked at Westside Humidor in Wichita, Kansas. And the owners of the shop, Jason and Neil, were actually the owners of that brand, and Gordon and Ryan managed it. But when that kind of, the FDA thing popped off, they just decided to focus on their shop rather than a brand.
So that was a shop that kind of had a brand that they were trying to make a national brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And, it was defunct for quite a while. Like I said, they ceased operations. And when I was talking with James, Black Label, it was just a brand that we thought would fit in the idea of Oveja Negra, black sheep. So I approached the owners, and we started negotiating and bought the brand from them, and immediately began blending and creating cigars and launched at the 2019 trade show.
Did they want an exorbitant price for the brand?
No, not at all. They're really reasonable.
That's good. A lot of times you get in a situation like that, and they just think because someone wants to buy it, it's got to be worth. You haven't done nothing with it in 2 years.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like but and then you get in those like back and forth negotiations because everybody always thinks sometimes what they got is worth way more than what it actually is. Well, I'm glad they were reasonable.
Yeah, and I think they were excited to see it back in the market too. I think
Good.
they wanted its place. So I went back to the drawing board and rebranded it, reblended everything, and kind of just kind of started from scratch a little bit with it. But I like the idea that they had. I just didn't think with the FDA, a lot of people were scared of it, what was going on. But I decided to take the risk and had a good support group behind me. Had a great factory to work out of that I've been working with for a long time anyway. So I was really familiar with everything. It all just kind of came together pretty perfectly, time-wise.
So when you bought the company, was it in 2019?
Yes.
So when you bought the company in 2019, were you trying to stay true to what they had created blend-wise, cigar-wise, or did you just start from scratch and completely revamp the brand?
Totally started from scratch and revamped the brand because they made their stuff out of two different factories. And what I wanted to do was highlight what Oveja Negra was capable of with the tobaccos that that they had, and what I was already familiar with. So I just kind of went with what I knew already, and like I said, the timing was perfect. I bought it in January and then launched it at the trade show that July.
Now you said Oveja Negra a few times. What is that?
Oveja Negra, there's two entities really with Oveja Negra. It's a Fabrica de Oveja Negra is the factory, our factory down in Nicaragua. It's a factory owned by James and Angela Brown, who also own Black Label Trading Company. And then we've formed the Oveja Negra Brands Group, which has 4 brands, all made out of Oveja Negra: Black Label, Black Works, Emilio, and Dissident Cigars.
So you obviously have done this with the blessing of your former employer. Their factory's making your cigar.
Yes, sir. Yes,
good.
Sir.
That's a great way.
Yeah, we had a great relationship. We still do. Worked with them. James was kind of my mentor a lot in this industry. He showed me the ropes quite a bit with when it came to blending cigars. When it just all of it. And to have his blessing and his guidance was meant the world to me. And it's all worked out very, very well. Like I said, all the brands come together and kind of fit into that idea of what a black sheep is. And they all kind of hit different ideas with it. With, Black Label is very rock and roll. Black Work is very, hip hop. Emilio's a little bit new wave, and Dissident's a little bit more punk, more grunge.
So when you went to recreate this brand, what were you looking for to develop as blend wise?
I'm more of a medium to full bodied guy. And they do very well in the market, right? Especially out in the Midwest and stuff, bolder flavors. A lot of people really gravitate towards. But I wanted them to be all very distinctly different. I didn't want any of them to kind of, have the same kind of feel or same kind of vibe to them. I wanted to kind of hit different demographics and different customers and give a little wider range of flavor profiles.
Now, how many retail doors can you find your brand in at the current time?
A lot. We're all over the United States, more than 100 retail partners, all the way from New England out to California. We have on our website, ovejanegracigars.com, we have a retail map up there with all of our retail partners.
Now, you were a brand new company in 2019, right?
Yeah.
So you're starting, you launched the trade show then. So you barely had a year under your belt and COVID hit. How did that affect a brand new company, like literally just on its walking legs? How bad? How did 2020 fare for you?
We did good. We maintained very well. Our partners, retailers going through the same thing, and we already had good relationships with a lot of those retailers as a rep beforehand. So we did well. It sucked because that would be the year that I would have seen some more growth. Especially for a new brand, that's the time you want to get out on the road, hitting up shops, strengthening those partnerships, doing events and everything. And
well, I gotta believe most of your accounts are accounts that weren't in the e-commerce or mail order business, and a lot of these doors closed for a lot of 2020. So that didn't hurt a lot at all.
No, because a lot of them adjusted. A lot of our retail partners who didn't have the e-commerce sites, they adapted very quickly. They put up websites. They started doing doors, pickup services and everything like that. And they really, the vast majority of them really pivoted quickly and adapted to the problem that everybody was facing, right, with COVID. So I was really proud of them, and the support that they gave to Dissident and Oveja Negra as a whole. We still had a good year. Was it the year I wanted? No, but I can't really complain. I'm really grateful for it.
God bless.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Absolutely. Did you run into any production issues during this whole insanity? I mean, like basically everybody else in the industry.
Not really production issues. I mean, there were some hindrances with some shipping and stuff like that kind of delayed things a little bit, but we didn't really have too much of an issue with production. The one thing I'm grateful for with the factory and the size that it is, and the connections that they have down there, they were able to maintain that pretty well.
We got a question from a listener, Ben. They wanted to know, this is from Chris Donnells. Are you starting any in-person events again, or are you going to be like our producer Paul DeGracco and be bunkered down for the next 5 years?
No, I've been starting to get back out there. I was just up in Philly area in North Jersey a couple weeks ago. Be going to Tennessee here next week, down to Houston, and starting to get back out there again. Our reps are doing a phenomenal job. They're doing events. They've been doing events for the past couple months already with the within their limitations that they can in their respective territories. And then next month, off to the trade show.
So you are going to the PCA?
Yes, sir.
Wow, good for you. Leave it to Casey Aldemani to ask a question that only a rep would ask.
Total sales rep question.
Total back end question that half our listeners probably like, what?
Right.
Casey would like to know, is your company a shared sales force with all the brands inside Oveja Negra?
Yes, that's one thing that we do with Oveja Negra brands. We share the same reps. We have, it's Oveja Negra brands in itself is kind of a brand, and they're out there selling all four brands that are under that umbrella.
So reps are selling all the brands that are made out of that factory?
Yes, sir.
But your company that you split off, is it wholly owned by you, or does the parent company have part ownership in it?
No, it's solely owned by me.
Good for you.
I own Dissident. Black Label is owned by James, Angela, and their team, and then Emilio is owned by Scott Zuka, who runs our distribution. But it's managed by the Black Label team. So everybody kind of has their part within the whole umbrella, to focus on, and we all come together as a team when we do events. We do trade shows, production, all that stuff is a unified front.
It's a very symbiotic relationship.
Yes, it is.
Well, it makes sense because you can share between, in theory, what 4 companies share the costs that are sometimes exorbitant for a small company like yours. So I get it. It makes sense. And the distribution and sales, it's actually a cool way to look at it. I don't know of too many others that do the same type of thing, but is that, you own the brand. Is it a challenge for you sometimes to because you have your own private brand and then you have this larger entity that you're technically a part of, but you're not, you know what I mean? Has that been a challenge for you, or no, because you've worked with them?
It hasn't been that much of a challenge because, we have a history together. We've had a really great working relationship, and we all share the same mindset. So, there's been difficulties here and there, sure, but nothing that has been, hard to overcome. Like I said, we all share the same vision, and we, great teamwork with everybody involved.
Right.
So and this question is strictly on your brand because that's what we're focusing on today, right? It's very much a struggle today to find your niche market. One of the things I always try to tell people when they're whatever business they're in, part of the plan to success is to really know who your customer is, to know who you're selling to, or who's going to be the recipient of what your end consumer is going to be dealing with. So what was your strategy? Obviously there's so many brands out there. I've many times have called this the renaissance of the cigar business, right? It's a consumer market, tons of great cigars being made out there. Choices are endless. What was your strategy going into this to find your niche? Who was going to be your consumer? How were you going to differentiate Dissident brand so that it would find its following amongst everybody else who's out there today?
My idea with Dissident is, one thing I've always, when I worked in retail, when I was a sales rep, one thing that I always found was kind of one of the problems of the industry that it has is growing the consumer base, right? There's a getting that next generation of cigar smokers involved, and that's kind of my focus, right? I want to open the door a little bit to get the younger, in a sense, those millennials involved into this industry, because I think that's what's very important with the longevity of the cigar industry, right? You want to have those people there buying your product and participating in the cigar community. And it's something that Black Label had started, and that I'm kind of piggybacking on that a little bit and expanding it. And you always get those cigar nerds, 'cause that's what I started out on, and that's what your base, your core consumer, your core customer is those nerds who want to try something new and who really want to get into the story behind it and the idea behind it. So that's where I'm starting at. That's where I'm focusing at. That's why I'm keeping the brand small. I'm not trying to have 50 SKUs on someone's shelf. I want to be more focused and more intentional with what I'm doing. And it's been working out very well. I think it's less overburdening for the consumer as well too. They're not, there's not too many Vitolas they have to figure out what they like, what they don't like. And the blends are flavorful, so they're getting something out of the experience of smoking the cigars.
I have a couple questions. First one's completely off topic. Forgive me. Paul, is that a crib behind you? Is that a crib behind you, Paul?
Is there? Yeah. That's where
the office.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Listen, I got to say now, but he's moved. But look at this. A few minutes ago, I was going to say all Paul needs is like a nice hot tea, some slippers, and a robe. The way he was leaning in his chair doing his interview, like he was all cocked back like this talking. I don't know if anybody caught that like about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like Paul was talking like this. So, Ben, yeah.
I've had a cold for 2 weeks. I'm sorry. I'm
God,
tired.
stop it. Anyway, my other question was, so Ben, you're out of Texas, right? And
yes,
I know Texas has kind of become like the land of boutique cigars. Did that kind of play to your advantage? It seems like, out in Texas, there's a big demand for kind of smaller, not these giant national known brands that people gravitate towards out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of shops out here that are more focused on boutiques, and that's kind of where I, cut my teeth in the industry too, right? I was a big boutique cigar smoker when I worked retail, and when so that is definitely worked to my advantage. And I already had those relationships a lot too, being a rep in this territory. So a lot of people knew that about me. I kind of fit into that. This is kind of the area where I came into my own in the industry. So it's been a huge advantage for me. It's one of our strongest territories, honestly, is the lower Midwest, Texas, Oklahoma, that area.
When you were in the Marines, you said you were in the Marine Corps, right?
Yes, sir.
So when you're in the Marines, is that when your foray into the cigar world started?
Yeah. I was, in Iraq, and, family and friends are always asking, what kind of care packages they can send you. And I was like, please stop sending us toilet paper. Please stop sending us toothpaste. We got enough of that shit. And send us something, send us cigars, because that's our downtime. We would sit around the smoke pit and kind of decompress and get out of, the shit, forget about the shit that we were in, and just sit around, enjoy a good cigar and talk about home and, relax.
Which reminds me, I'm going to say this now because, I'll forget. Alex got a million things going on. But we got to remember this week, we got a huge Cigars for Gunner shipment we got to get out. So,
yeah,
the number, I don't know if this is an old statistic in my head. I don't know if it's still current or not. But back when we started our Cigars for Gunners program, cigars were the number 2 requested thing by the military as far as care packages. Number 1 at the time, I believe, was coffee. Okay. So we started our Cigars for Gunner program. It's a great program. We work with Cigars for Warriors, because while we can collect the cigars, it really was a job trying to find people to send them to. We had a link in our website. If we were serviced, send us your APO, we'll put you on a list. But Cigars for Warriors has a phenomenal network of how to get this in the right hands of people serving abroad. So what we do is we send them our cigars and they distribute it. But we have a great program called Cigars for Gunners. You go to our Smoke Inn website, go to Cigars for Gunners. Everything is pretty much at cost, or some stuff below cost. We don't believe in making profit on donations that are being made to military. So if you want to donate cigars, it's the place to go. There's like 14 or 15 different SKUs, and we change them once a quarter, every few months. We mix it up. But if next time you even place an order with us, if you just want to add a little GFG, a Cigar for Gunner package, we throw them in this big box, and once every few months we ship it off to Cigars for Warriors. But yeah, number 2 requested item from military personnel.
How long has Cigars for Warriors been around?
I don't know. Good question. I mean, I've known about him for a very, very long time. In fact, I don't know why
we had him on not too long ago.
We did.
Yeah. I don't know why we didn't work with them earlier.
That's my question. Like, Ben, when you were serving, was that kind of where were most of your cigars coming from? Was it literally just, hey, send a cigar, stop sending toilet paper, or were there programs like that?
No, it was family and friends that were doing it at the time. I think I was over there in 2006, 2007 in Iraq. I don't think Cigars for Warriors was around then, but I think it was early 2010, 11 or so, I think, when they started coming in, maybe.
So it was literally just, hey, thanks for the toilet paper, send a few cigars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the American society's infatuation with toilet paper? I mean, seriously, there's like some major infatuation. Oh, look who's back alive on Facebook again.
Habibi?
No, Diana. She had a break, man. We hadn't seen her for a long time. I thought she had moved out of the country for a second. She is back, alive.
Oh, yeah, there she is.
Yes, good to see you here. Looking lovely as always, my dear.
Hey, short stuff.
Said, she was escaping the Facebook drama for a little while.
I revel in it.
Facebook drama? No.
Haters gonna hate.
Listen to me. I tell you what. Paul knows because he's been doing the show a long time. I was in that mix of being in the drama, stirring up shit, and I just got so tired of it. I don't know, if you noticed, in the last 2 years, I don't talk about anything that's going to stir up it. And I'm going to tell you something. I've just enjoyed social media so much goddamn more. I block people who always make posts that are just, controversial. It's not needed. It's not needed. Life's been so much better. And we've been good at keeping that out of our social group too.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I mean, I was really nervous about that. Everybody's been very respectful, man. It's been a very comfortable, fun place to hang out, our smoking social group.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I kind of revel in the drama and the arguing, but like nowadays, I'm just so afraid that the wrong comment will get you thrown in Facebook jail. It's not even worth it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like Ronnie Haysha.
Well, Ronnie Haysha revels in the band. I mean,
I feel like
he's a career criminal. Ronnie's a career criminal.
Every other week, he's in Facebook jail.
Yeah, Ronnie's a career criminal. Him and Matt Hartzell.
And Jeff Dunlop.
Have you ever been put in Facebook jail before?
Not yet.
Nope.
Yeah, me neither.
I've had a couple 3 days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A couple.
What did you say?
Yeah, I want to know.
I don't remember.
Political stuff?
Probably. I'm sure. Remember, I land on the political scale of, hard conservatives think I'm too liberal, liberals think I'm too conservative. Right. I'm the libertarian in the room.
You're perfect. You're perfect for the shit show.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're perfect for the shit show.
Absolutely.
All right, we got to take a break. I got to tell you what, nubbing this thing.
Yeah.
Which is not. I got an hour out of it, which makes good. 2 will get me through the show. Loving it. So we're going to take a short break. After the break, we're going to find out what's going on with the Scoop with Coop. Also, we have our wonderful segment, As the Record Spins by Albo Cigars, and we'll be asking Benjamin the very special question provided by Eddie Guerra himself. So don't go anywhere. Keep it lit.
Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause lung cancer and heart disease. Currently available at your favorite cigar store, the Romeo y Julieta Reserva Real Nicaragua is another fantastic collaboration between AJ Fernandez and Rafael Nadal. Landing a #1 cigar of the year of 2020 by Cigar and Spirits magazine, the Reserva Real Nicaragua is handcrafted at Tabacalera AJ Fernandez. This Nicaraguan Puro is a medium to full-body cigar that is packed to the brim with flavor notes of leather, coffee, and red pepper, which pairs nicely with a spiced rum. Available in 4 sizes, Romeo y Julieta returned to prestigious form with the Reserva Real Nicaragua that should be enjoyed by all. Surgeon General warning. Cigar smoking can cause lung cancer and heart disease.
Oh, it's just you. Who doesn't love a shower sip of a good glass of wine? And our friends over at KMAWines.com, they have some great wines from Bonner Private Wines, like this Sunal from the winery that's up 8,950 feet in the air, one of the 3rd largest vineyards in the entire world. We work so hard. You gotta relax, you gotta enjoy the finer things in life. A great cigar, a really, really great wine to pair it with, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So check out KMAWines.com. You get a discount because we know each other. We're buds. We're pals. You get a discount on shipping. You get a discount on products. KMAWines.com, and tell them that Paul and Abe sent you. I'm going to be late back to the show while I finish this and finish the shower. So see you at KMAWines.com.
Rerun Paul. I really got to say, I can't lie. I'm just slightly disappointed in you.
Everybody likes a good rerun. That's a classic.
Dude, let me just tell you something. The fact of all your Broadway talk, all the shit you've done, all the work, I really thought that when I gave you this project, you would run with it. It's a 30-second skit once a week.
Project and a budget.
And he got a budget. And we've come up with what, 4 commercials?
I think 5.
I mean, come on, dude. Very disappointing. For a guy who I just thought would revel in this, use some of his old skills, enjoy writing a skit. 30-second skit, man. You want one of my kids to write you one a week? I bet you they could do it.
That would be awesome.
I'm going to have Petra. No, actually, Zane is my writer. I'm going to have Zane write you like 10, 30-second skits.
And then have them come and help me.
No, and then I'm going to give it to Steph because obviously she's the one that gets shit done.
Clearly.
Clearly. I bet you if I told Steph we needed one a week, she'd make you do it.
She's the reason why I'm in a different room now.
So what?
I'm just letting you know.
Why did she make you change rooms?
Because there's a crib in that room and the baby needs to nap.
Oh.
There was a baby in that crib while you were doing the show?
No. He wasn't in there, but he's got a nap now, so he's got to go in there. I think there's 7 bedrooms in this house, something ridiculous like that, and he has to go in that room. I'm like, really? I picked the furthest room from everything. It was perfect.
You didn't know the baby was going to have to take a nap during the show?
He usually doesn't take a nap during the show, actually. He usually takes a nap at like noon after the show, but he's got a touch of my cold too.
Okay, so I'd like to do a survey right now, a KMA survey.
Here we go.
No, this is a legitimate survey because I know a lot of people, and it's just a concept that I could never, ever, 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 ever fathom in my life. But it's done by a lot of people. So us 4 can answer here, but then I'd like to see the listeners see what they say, right? How many people take naps when they can or practice taking a nap in the middle of the day?
Oh. Well,
now I know you definitely do, Paul.
No, I honestly, I never took a nap in my life until I moved to South Florida. So
that's a yes.
No, but I don't take naps now. Like during the day, I don't have time to take naps. When the kids
on
go
a weekend,
down for a nap,
when you're not working, right, during the day, you don't sneak a nap in on a Saturday, Sunday afternoon?
No, there's no time. There's no time.
Okay, say you had time, would you be a napper?
I can, but I don't nap I don't get into bed to nap. Listen, we've talked about, maybe we haven't, but I was in therapy for a number of years back in the day. And I remember my therapist said, like, the number one thing that you should not do is get into your bed other than for bedtime. Like
my wife likes to take naps. I never understand it. I'm gonna go lie down.
My wife does
bit.
too.
Like,
She'll get
what?
in bed and get under the covers.
What
and
is that?
Yeah,
Alex, you a napper?
I can't even sleep at night, let alone nap during the day.
You don't worry. When the new baby comes, you'll get some sleep because you'll be so goddamn tired.
It's irrelevant, dude. There's nights that I'm like, I'm up till 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning listening to my, 6th history podcast. Can't fall asleep, and then I'm like, okay, well at least I know tomorrow night I'll be dead, and then the same thing happens tomorrow night. So it's just become a part of my life.
I used to be that way too. But and in fairness, when I commuted to Manhattan on the days that I commuted on the train when I didn't drive, I did sometimes sleep on the train because there was a 45-minute train ride, sometimes an hour train ride. So I did nap on the train sometimes.
Okay, that's falling asleep. Like I could fall asleep in a long car ride, but I'm just talking about consciously saying I'm going to take a nap.
No, never like get into my bed.
Look, there are some people who are saying napping is essential. Yeah.
I love naps.
Are you a napper, Benjamin?
Hell yeah.
I don't get that.
I don't nap every day, but usually on like a Sunday or Saturday in the afternoon, if it's a nice day or something. Yeah. I think there's a photo of me taking a nap somewhere in Nicaragua on a hammock that I look like a dead guy. I'm a deep napper.
Well, I can see that though. I have to imagine coming from a background of where sleep is at a premium and far and few in between.
That's true.
You start to kind of appreciate being able to get a little sleep in when you can.
Yep.
Yeah, I can never. For me to say I need to lie down, or something has to be physically wrong with me.
I mean, Abe, I've seen you fall asleep in like a nice armchair before. Actually,
that's not a nap. That's like exhaustion. Like you pass out. That's not a nap.
Where I saw Abe fall asleep one time? I don't think you even know that I was there, Abe. We had a meeting.
I don't know when you're in the room 90% of the time.
Yeah, exactly. We had a meeting one time at the West Palm location when you first opened. It wasn't actually even open yet.
Well, that's probably why I was exhausted from working on opening the place.
You were at Real Clips, and I walked in, and I was saying hi to Andre, and I was like, "Wait."
Oh, in the barber chair.
Abe takes a nap in the barber. That's where Abe naps, in the barber chair for sure.
Yeah.
He was passed
Once
out.
that hot rag goes on his face, I know that he's asleep when it comes off.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And there was noisy in there, Real Clips is a hopping place. There were a lot of people in there. The video clips were playing, and he was passed out.
When I get tired, nothing can wake me up. My college roommates used to have fun, and I didn't believe them because there was no video on the phones, back then, whatever. Man,
Right.
literally, like, it wasn't until like every single person told me, yeah, dude, we were all doing it. But those like bean bags that, people would sit on the floor. I would pass out on a couch somewhere. They would throw one on me, and they would all take turns like running across the room and like Superfly Jimmy snooker me, like jumping on the bag, trying to wake me up. No.
Yeah, it was funny. I remember when we were on the car ride back from Naples from Rocky's birthday party, Abe was actually texting somebody and fell asleep and wound up sending that person like 175 emojis, literally back to back.
Yes.
Fell asleep with his finger on it. It just kept sending shit.
Literally sent like 100 gifs, emojis, whatever.
God, so funny.
And I woke up like, oh, dude, I am so sorry. I fell asleep while texting.
Oh my God. That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, I'll do that. Like sometimes I'll sit in my chair. I have a really nice Barca lounger that I just got, and I'll sit in that and like catch myself falling asleep for like 10 minutes. But other than like specifically going to nap, I don't.
I'm most susceptible in car rides.
Yeah, that makes
sense. And I think that has to do with my childhood because I grew up working in the grocery store like since I could walk with my dad. So like on weekends, like he would wake us up like at 6 a.m. to go with him. And it was a good like 25, 30-minute car ride to work. So I literally did everything I could not to fully wake up. Like I would get dressed, I wouldn't eat breakfast. And like my dad would be sitting at the kitchen table eating breakfast. I would take the keys to the car and just go to the car and lie down and go to sleep. Because I just tried not to wake up to squeeze an extra 30 minutes of sleeping. And I think that's what made me like car rides could do it to me, man. They put me out. If somebody's not talking to me or whatever, I'm out in the car, which my poor son already suffers from. My son, we could be here, and he will be asleep before we get out of this complex.
Didn't Carmine mention something when you guys were driving home last weekend?
So I had Carmine last weekend. Alex had a date night, so we watched Carmine. And we were invited to a friend's house.
Yeah, so I met a girl at the bar. We went out last Saturday.
Yeah. So we had Carmine. Of course, on the way home, I got the two kids because I'm dropping Carmine back off. So I got Asher and Carmine. And my son's asleep before we get out of the development. And I said to Carmine, I said, is Asher asleep? He goes, yeah. I said, you don't take naps? You don't fall asleep? He goes, no, I don't like to sleep. I said, well, you don't like to sleep? Why don't you like to sleep? He goes, because I might miss something. You don't want to miss out on anything. You don't like
smart kid. That's a smart kid.
Carmine, I gotta hand it to him, man. He says some great shit sometimes. Cracks me
up. He's king at a one-liner sometimes.
Cracks me up.
So, Abe, you started your first job essentially was in the your father's grocery store, right?
Well, I mean, technically, that wasn't my first real job,
but that was where you first. What about you, Ben?
My first job, I worked at a movie theater in high school. That was a pretty cool gig.
I was a movie guy. I would have loved to.
You're gonna make. I don't know if I want to talk about my first job.
Come on, Paul.
That wasn't even a. I didn't even have any
embarrass yourself any more than you have already on this show.
My first official job was when I was 16. I think I had done like side jobs and stuff when I was 14 and 15, and like when I would come up here to Albany, we would do like farm work, like picking apples and stuff. But my first like real job was a telemarketer. I sold chimney. I sold chimney cleanings.
I was a great telemarketer. I worked telemarketing. My first telemarketing job was a Signature Group, which was an affiliate of Montgomery Ward. If anybody can remember what Montgomery Ward was, but they sold insurance. They sold a bunch of stuff, and I was Slayer. I was a Slayer telemarketer. I sold everything from Pan Am when it was an airline passes to Big Bird beat books for Sesame Street to everything. I remember selling a woman a Sesame Street beat book. It was called a beep book. Like it was, kids would read it and they would touch the wand and it would beep if it was right. Yeah. Like the woman started the conversation telling me that a tornado just tore off the ceiling of their house a couple of days ago. She's looking like at the sky from inside their home, and she ended up buying it. I mean, it wasn't even a hard sell. That was like the easiest product I ever sold, because when you're selling something for kids, every parent wants it.
Yeah, that's true. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Even
I sold this thing called Lifeline. Life something, but it was a thing to help people quit smoking cigarettes, right? So they would buy this like unit, and they would like for like 2 weeks, every time they had a cigarette, they would like tell it, and then it would slowly wean them off after like a 2-week programming period.
Not a terrible idea.
And it would beep when you could have your cigarette, and it would show you have so much time to your next cigarette.
Oh my God, sitting there.
Wait, hold on. So my job was to call people who bought it the first time, because because it didn't work for 90% of the people, 95% of the people, and sell them the new improved unit.
Oh God.
The second time. Oh yeah, I've had some terrible telemarketing jobs.
Man, I was 16 years old making, I mean, all my friends were working at, McDonald's or wherever, which were great jobs, but I think we made like $13 an hour back in however long ago that was. And then you made $30 for every chimney cleaning you sold. I would walk out of there. As a teenager, I could walk out of there with $2,000 for the week for working 4 hours a night, Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
It was a lucrative job. I had no idea how lucky I was. I hated it, but I was really good at it. And we didn't do our area. So it wasn't like I was calling my friend's parents. We did Westchester County. That's where the company was based out of, but the telemarketers were on Long Island. So it was a weird first job. I didn't know anybody.
I don't know why you thought that was embarrassing, for real.
Yeah, it was.
It's just your first job. It should be like.
What was your first job, Alex?
My first job was actually in a bakery, but for a 14-year-old, it was kind of a fun job. The only thing I did all day long was, they made a whole lot of cheesecakes for restaurants and stuff. So when you make cheesecakes, you make them and then you throw them in the freezer. Yeah. And let them set. So my job was the next day, literally, I would just play with the torch all day. Yeah, you would have to get the torch and kind of heat up the bottom of that metal and to be able to pop the cheesecake out. So I played with torches all day long at like 14.
And that's actually pretty awesome. Yeah.
And Benjamin, what was your first job?
Movie theater.
That's right, movie theater. Yeah.
Did you have to kick people out?
Huh?
What's that?
Did you ever have to kick people out of the movie theater that snuck in?
Sometimes, yeah. There were. I mean, he's found some really gross stuff in movie theaters too.
Oh, I can imagine. Movie theaters got to be one of the most skeeviest places.
Yeah, we had to kick people out for drinking in there, and other.
Always did. In high school, I always drank in the movie theater every time.
We only drank in the drive-throughs. Like we would go to a drive-through, load up a car with beer.
That makes sense.
We
didn't have drive-throughs. I never went to a drive-through until I moved to Florida.
I've never went to a drive-through.
Drive-through here.
I've never been to a drive-through.
My first job, non-family job, was I was a comic book kid. So I'd like to try to make a few bucks selling comic books. So there was this old car wash called McLean's Car Wash, right? And it was just this 2-lane, simple building. It was one of the ones where the cars rolled in, it caught the tire, it would drag them through, they would come out the other side. And there was a guy inside who would scrub the rims and whatever. So I would load up my backpack with as much dry towels as I can. I'd ride my bike there after school, and I would stand outside with towels and dry people's cars for $1. I'd make $15-20 maybe in an afternoon and have enough money to buy comic books. And then one day it dawned upon me, not every car lets me dry their car, right? But that guy inside, he gets a tip from everybody, and he makes an hourly pay. So one day there was a help wanted sign. I was only 15 at the time. I had to fake my own birth certificate, changed it so I was 16, and then I got a job inside the car wash. That was my first job. And then when I officially turned 16, became legal, my first legitimate job, I thought it was a glory day because I went from $3.35 an hour to $3.85 an hour. I got a job with Marshalls in the women's shoe department. Oh my God.
Wow. That I cannot imagine.
You want to know what a living hell on earth is? Go work a women's shoe department in one of those stores. Those are brutal. All they do is pick up shit from the wire racks. They drop it down. They put their feet in. It doesn't fit. They go to the next one. They would just leave a slew of 40 shoes by the time they walked away.
You weren't fitting them. You weren't fitting them, were
you?
No.
It was all like self-service. Marshalls. There's no fitters. Yeah. But they would just drop them on the floor, see if their foot would fit. And I was Al Bundy for like a summer. Literally, Chrissy, I literally was. And then I got upgraded because of my skills from the grocery store. I said, they need cashiers. I said, I've been working at cash registers since I was 8 years old. So then I got upgraded to a cashier. But yeah, that was like my first legitimate job, Marshall.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never would have guessed that.
All right.
That's funny.
Listen, Benjamin. Alvo Cigars and Eddie Guerra and the fine folks from Alvo Cigars have a wonderful segment called As the Record Turns. Eddie Guerra has a very special question for you, and we're going to run that now. All right, Benjamin.
Do you have the new?
Yes,
document?
I do. Yes, okay. I do. I would have realized that you had the same question. I would have texted you by now. But thank you for checking that I didn't read the exact same question from last week.
Perfect.
What a great after the thought producer you are. Benjamin, here's a question from Eddie Guerra. Which has there been a trip or an experience that has had the greatest impact on your life? Now, I'll give you a few seconds to think about that because these are all pretty deep questions. But we're just looking at there's a specific maybe trip you took, some experience that you had that really had an impact, a significant impact on your life and the course it's had and where you are today and got you to where you are today.
I mean, there's been quite a few. I've been blessed growing up being I was a military brat, so we traveled around a lot and lived in a lot of different places. The one that had the biggest impact on my life, whether for good and for bad, was probably those 7 months I spent in Iraq. That was a pretty life-changing experience for sure. Just filled with a lot of good things and a lot of bad things, but they really helped. Especially as a young man, they really helped me focus on what was important in life. All those kind of the naivete, as most young people have, kind of faded away, and the reality set in a little bit. Which, like I said, for good and for bad, it was. I got to meet a lot of interesting people, made a lot of lifelong bonds with those guys I served with over there. I would have to say, probably Iraq for sure. I think a lot of veterans who've been over there, it's probably have the same answer.
I would have to imagine just being in the military has an amazing impact on anybody's life. Yeah,
and like I said, I was a military brat. My mom was in the Air Force. We moved around a lot. We lived in the Azores. We lived in Japan. We lived in Guam. When I went into the Marine Corps, I lived in Hawaii, went to Thailand, all these other places, but which was all great and fun-filled adventures. If my brother was in Iraq as well too. My brother-in-law was there, and that was probably a big event. Not to be a downer, but he passed away while I was in Iraq, and he was in Iraq as well too. Killed in action.
Sorry.
That really was a thing that brought the family together, and like I said, really made me focus on the important things. Family is the number one thing to me, and that was one of the reality. That's when the reality really set in on the importance of that. But at the same time, it also taught me a lot of things you can overcome. Right, like another huge impact was, with all the stress and things that you go through in those kind of situations, you really get, you walk away amazed at what you can overcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can imagine it shapes your whole life. Ben, when you're in Iraq and was your brother there at the same time?
Yeah, my brother-in-law was there. I was in Al Anbar province we were the landholders of the port of entry there on the border of Jordan, and he was in Baghdad. And I was there in country a month about when he died, April 1st, 2007.
Were you ever able to see him while you were there, or was it just too far away?
Too far away. He was towards the end of his tour there. He'd already been there almost a year at the time, and he had a couple more months before he was rotating back. But April 1st happened. He was a part of a quick reaction team, went out to respond to an IED, and another bigger IED went off and killed all 4 people in the vehicle.
So sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Matt Booth always talks about how he always harkens back to his military service. Even though obviously it's been a long time since he's been in, certain things always come up. Do you find that too? Does it shape and help you throughout your life, especially in business?
Yeah. The one thing that the military is really good at is putting this sense of structure, right? And setting goals and to achieve and keep moving forward, right? Even when you do get these hurdles in life and in business, you have to kind of, you look at the situation a little bit more focused, a little bit more logical, right? And you're able to fall back on that structure again and adapt to implement a structure and to go forward. It's one of the most honorable things I ever did was joining the military, and I am grateful for every moment of it, especially for a young guy like me. Had a really blessed childhood. I was really grateful for the experiences I had, but having that in there, I think has those ideas that it instilled in me helped me a lot throughout my life. It helped me adapt to a lot of the changes that life throws at you.
Well, that's great. I mean, we hear that from a lot of folks, right, Abe? I mean, that the structure is something that sticks with you forever.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, many gratitudes to you and your family who seem to be enveloped in servicing this fine nation. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Is Coop on deck, Paul?
Coop is on deck. He is ready to go. Let's give me the word.
Let's see what his Wi-Fi connection is today.
All right, here we go.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
And joining us from, I believe, his home studio. He's back home.
He's looking good already.
He's looking crystal clear over there.
Crispy Coop.
Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, Ben. How's it going?
Doing all right. How about yourself, Coop?
Good. All good here.
Coop, you know Ben, right?
Sorry about that.
Have you had him on the show?
Yes, yeah. Ben, we had Ben on the show last year, Ben's done a great job with his line, and there was a lot of following with the Dissident line prior to when Ben had it. He had a big cult following, and Ben's kind of just captured that, and I think just continued it along. Because this brand continues to just have a group following, and I just remember 2 years ago when he launched at the trade show, we were all looking at Dissident, and he really didn't disappoint. If you haven't had the cigars, they're excellent cigars.
Thank you.
Well, Coop, I just wanted to let you know, I'm going to make sure I send you the press release first.
Well, no, so I don't have to read about it on Half Wheel, right?
We're going to send it to you first. Hey, listen. Don't blame me. Don't blame me if Half Wheel watches this show and puts something out based on what we said on this show.
No,
our official press release will go to you first.
I appreciate it.
I nubbed it. I nubbed it to death.
There you go.
This is a good cigar.
That actually, to be honest, for people that don't know, that actually says something. If Abe nubs a cigar, because it's not that he doesn't like all cigars, it's just that he gets distracted, and I don't think I've ever seen him finish a cigar.
Well, I usually finish it on KMA because that's the best time to have a cigar. I'm relaxing. Yeah. No one's barging in my office every 3 seconds to ask me questions. I don't have to get out and put it on a fire. I usually finish whatever I smoke on KMA. But yeah, that's why I don't light during the day, because I end up relighting the same cigar like 322 times. I'm smoking an ashtray by the time I'm halfway through it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Coop, what is the scoop?
Well, there's actually announcements of cigars coming out at the PCA this year, which is, I guess, a welcome thing, considering, we want to see some new product there. Let me start off with a couple of companies that normally you don't hear a lot of releases out of, but they have something at least coming out at the trade show. And I'll start with Ashton. And in their San Cristobal brand, they've just released a Churchill size of the Quintessence line. So this is going to be a 7x49 cigar. And the Quintessence line is a Habano blend that's blended at my father's factory in Nicaragua. So kind of the first time Ashton's made really a product announcement, at least in a year. They don't do a lot of product announcements, but this one's already hit the stores and it will be showcased at the trade show.
I'm going to say something here, and I most likely probably shouldn't. I feel compelled. I'm probably going to get a few phone calls this week about it. Sathi is probably going to roll over and cry. But is it me, or are they like the most unexciting company in the industry?
There should be a lot more excitement with that brand.
I mean, it's like nothing.
I would agree.
It's like I believe there's what the cigar industry is kind of doing, and then there's Ashton. It's like they're in their own little Ashton verse.
They have some really good products. I mean, the VSG.
I'm not discounting their products. I'm not saying
but
bad about their
I
products.
agree with you. I agree with you. There's not a lot of.
Ashton VSG for the longest time was one of my most, back when it was really, really hard to get and it was an allocated product. Like we would get shipments in and I would open them up, put them on the shelf and look for the darkest wrapper. But how long are you talking about a cigar that came out over 15 years ago? You know, Coop? I mean, it's like, I don't know. We have great stories and then you've been doing my show how long? This might be the first time I can even remember you doing an Ashton story.
No, it's right. It's about 4 years, and they really haven't done much in 4 years. There was one, I think, release they've had in that time.
Yeah,
I mean, if there was
Symmetry, probably.
Well, Symmetry's back. Symmetry goes back even further than that.
Yeah, and it wasn't. You know, I mean, look, if you gave out awards for like the least excitement, they would win it.
Yeah, I mean, we plan on visiting the Ashton booth at the trade show, and we would welcome the opportunity to finally have a conversation with them.
South, they don't like it. We've been asking him to do KMA. We've been asking him to do KMA for like 10 years. Lady M would approach him every time, and he would say, yeah, I'll do it. Never did it once.
Right. I mean, we would welcome the opportunity to talk with them.
I mean,
we'll try, and we'll see what happens.
Have they never talked to you at the trade show?
No.
Well, that says it all. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, a lot of media has struggled to get to. It's not just me. A lot of media has struggled.
It's almost. They think they're beyond it. I don't understand the Ashton culture on any level.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have good relationships with the Ashton reps and stuff that I've worked with, locally and stuff. So that's not really the issue. But I guess this is just not their thing for whatever reason.
Alex, let me know if we start getting the tons of back orders.
Yeah. I was going to say, they're not going to come on the show now.
Yeah.
Listen, it's been 10 years. That ship's kind of sailed, Paul.
Right.
I kind of gave up on it.
The cigars are good, though. I actually think that the first maybe it wasn't Great Smoke, but you had given me a couple of them at one point, Abe, in a pack of cigars that you gave me one time. I think you gave me like 10 or 15 cigars, and 2 of them were Ashtons, and I had never smoked them before. I very much enjoyed them. I've had them since. They're good cigars, but you're right. You really don't hear anything about them. Casey,
it's not just the media. Casey makes a comment, they will not embrace a cigar. It's not just the media. It doesn't even seem like they're embracing their consumer base. They're just not embracing anybody. I mean, they don't embrace their retailers. Right. They really don't. Yeah, I mean, they just do their thing in some obscure, locked in a cave way. And listen, I mean, they're happy with it. It works, but I just got to call it out. I mean, if you want to talk about the least exciting company I ever dealt with, it's those guys.
There were companies, though, I can go back 3 or 4 years ago that were in the same boat, and in the last few years have kind of come out of that shell. So I'm kind of just hoping maybe Ashton will be next. I mean, that's kind of what I'll be optimistic on.
Well, moving on. What else you got, Coop?
At least they sent you a press release.
No, they didn't. You dig sometimes on major releases. And this is another one that I didn't get a press release on either. I had to dig for. Oliva, another company that doesn't do a lot of new releases, they are going to have an extension to the Series V line coming out at the PCA trade show. It's the 135th anniversary edition limitada. So this is going to be a figurado, and it's going to be an inverse figurado. So it's going to be tapered at the foot, and it's going to have a rounded cap. And it's going to be in the Series V blend, which is one of the more popular ones. It's supposedly a limited release, but it's quite a big limited release. You have 15,000 boxes of 12 counts. So there's going to be a lot of these cigars out there. And we priced it $10, and it'll be showcased at the show, and you can expect to see it in the fall.
It'll be so limited, you'll see it blown off for 40% off within months. I'm being bad today. I'm being bad today.
Oh, we want that, Abe. That's good. I need that kind of yin and yang.
Honest Abe.
Honest Abe is back. No, he never left the building. All right, here's another one for you, Abe. Illusione Cigars has announced their PCA trade show exclusive. And it's actually not a new cigar. It's a Candela version of their. It's a CG4 size of their Illusione Candela. So CG4 is like a 5 5/8 by 46 cigar. It's found in the original documents in the Maduro line. They're releasing it now in their Candela line, which is the fourth size doing of a Candela. This cigar is actually floated around already. It was an exclusive cigar up to a cigar called the Vault in Idaho. I think that's what Sean Miles, our friend, is kind of associated with that. So they had it as a store exclusive for a while, and now Dion is offering it as a PCA trade show exclusive at the trade show. You have to be there to get that Candela.
Sorry about that.
I actually heard that from the other office.
Yeah,
Even though
I had to hit the mute real quick. I knew that would blow the speakers.
I gotta tell you, Illusione is actually one of the. I've had their Candelas. It's actually one of the Candelas that I've enjoyed. I'm not a big Candela guy, but they do a good job with theirs.
Wasn't the Holy Lance a Candela?
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, they do a good job. They give it a nice balance.
I never knew he had a Candela. I'll smoke Candelas all day long. I like them.
Really? His are really good. He's got a Robusto, a Churchill, the Lancero. Now this Corona Gorda is coming out.
Can I tease something? Can I tease something during your segment, Coop?
It's your. It's not. This is not
his
the
segment. It's our show. So yeah,
it's actually. I don't. You're allowed to do that.
As long as it's not associated with cigar-coop.com.
I just find it more fulfilling when I could tease something while Coop is on.
Yeah.
During his segment, it's like more. I feel for it more.
He starts twitching.
Well, there will be a release sometime, hopefully this year, of a microblend that will have the first Candela in it ever.
Ooh.
Ever.
You say with who?
Nope.
Oh, come on, man.
That's called the teaser.
That's the teaser, right?
And
Listen,
it will have
Candela
Candela in it.
hobby.
It won't be a Candela cigar.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We've been busy boys here in the back offices of Smoke Inn. We got a lot of shit.
Look, I was back there in your office a few weeks ago. I can attest to that.
We've been
busy, things I saw in your office, like, well, you got this? Yeah.
busy boys. What else you got going on, Coop?
Not a PCA release, but a release that everyone looks forward to every year. Crown Heads, the Las Calaveras Edición Limitada 2021 was announced this week. And if you're really, that's a release they do every year. It honors the year. It's kind of on homage to those who passed away. It's going to come out in July, and every year that cigar kind of features a different wrapper, and they do some different sizes of it. So this year, the 2021 edition is going to be a Sumatra wrapper, and that's the first time they put Sumatra on the Las Calaveras line. It's going to be released in 4 sizes: 6x48, a 5x50, a 5 3/4 by 54, and for you Lancero lovers, there's going to be a 6x40 size available that will only be available in a sampler packet that will contain each of those sizes. So you can expect to start seeing those come to the stores next month.
Interesting.
Yep. So and the color of the bands is kind of always the interesting thing with that. Right. They've changed it up this year. It's like a yellow they're using, like a
Casey Aldumani.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer him, Casey. I've been ignoring him. Jeff. I guess sorry, I'm interrupting you, Coop. But Casey, the always gentlemanly guy. If you ask a not smart question, I'm just going to ignore it. And if you ask it again, I'm not going to answer it because I ignored you the first time. But now to answer your question, Jeff Walsh, who wants us to do our date, we were having a Davidoff, like 60-person socialite, invite only, like virtual experience on June 29th. And Jeff keeps asking me, why isn't it on November 30th? Why isn't it on November 30th? Well, Jeff, Davidoff didn't offer us that window to do the event.
What's
so
November
please
30th?
Feel free. I don't know, it's Winston Churchill's birthday, or I don't know. But feel free to call Davidoff at 813-513-7560 and ask Davidoff why they didn't want to do these events in November.
Jeff's dying to get on the show.
Carry on, Coop.
All right. Last story. This one is a joint project being done by 5 cigar companies. So, Honduras had a tough year last year. They had the two hurricanes come through the area. They had the COVID pandemic they were dealing with, and there were a lot of people affected, and there was a lot of people in need. So 5 companies have teamed up for a sampler pack, and it's a 6-cigar sampler pack, and it's going to help raise funds to help people with medicine, supplies, food, etc. So the 5 companies are Oscar Valadares, Rocky Patel, Leaf by Oscar, Platinum Nova Cigars, and Cavalier Cigars. And the sampler pack will feature the Oscar Wild Hunter, the 2012 by Oscar, Leaf by Oscar, Nova Platinum Batch, Cavalier Geneva White Series, and the Rocky Patel Sungrown. So you can expect to start seeing those hit the stores pretty soon.
Yeah, I saw that. That's interesting.
We're gonna have Sebastian on KMA next week from Cavalier Cigars.
Did he get back? Yeah, Paul. You're the one who was supposed to finalize it. We can move
First
to the
of all,
19th.
I texted your entire staff except for Alex, I guess. They all know. Your graphics guys know. Your assistant knows. Everybody knows that he's on.
Oh, so he is on the 19th.
Yeah.
He's got a really interesting. I've had him on.
I guess I should read the bottom of the outline.
What was that, Coop?
He's got a very interesting story how he entered the cigar business. Probably one of the more unique ones.
Did he lose a bet? Speaking of which, somebody owes me a $10 bill. You got a $10 bill in your pocket, young man?
You got change?
I will make change. My man.
Again? Alex, don't you learn?
I'm a degenerate, bro. I'm a degenerate.
Do we want to share?
Come on.
Do we want to share it? Because I don't mind sharing this one.
No, we don't share any. All of a sudden,
All
we're
right,
going to fucking share mine. 15 fucking bills in, we're going to share mine all of a sudden? A tradition. No, we're not breaking tradition. I lost the bet as usual.
As usual. How much money?
Wait, hold on. What's your motto,
Alex? Giving him money?
It's a numbers game, bro. Eventually, you're going to hit.
Eventually, it's going to hit.
It's my lottery. Some people pay the lottery. I just bet with Abe. Oh, fuck, it's $1. It's $10. I don't care.
Listen, that one started out with $1. He doubled down twice.
Yeah, we did.
He doubled down
Wow,
twice.
You're really confident, huh? Oh, Wayne.
I might be in the lead.
I might scroll through this to see how many Alexes I got.
I might be in the lead. I might be close to 10. I might be in the lead, and I owe 1.
That's an Alex.
Wow.
That's an Alex. Wow. Off the bat. Italo. Oh, another Alex. Wow, you might be in the lead.
Might be in the lead, dude. I don't care. I'll throw the bet out. I don't care. So what? Let's do it. Yeah, sure, I'll bet. Fuck. That's the problem. Everybody's like, no, I don't want to bet. No, fuck it, I'll bet.
The best one was the one before, where I literally told him, dude, I just got off the phone with the rep. It's not that company, and he still decided to bet me.
Yeah, sober guys shouldn't make bets about booze.
Oh, I don't know, man. Going through these, there's a lot of Briggs. He may still have the lead.
He was the one that had the most with you, right?
He may still have the lead going through this. There's a lot of Briggs over here.
Alex, have you won one yet?
No, not yet, man.
He's waiting to pop. Ooh, look what I just came across.
Ooh, Holt of Graco.
That's my handwriting. That's not my handwriting. Oh, there you go.
No, I wrote your name on it because when you guys signed them, I can't remember who the hell it is. So I think that's
the only one you have of mine. I did have one.
Don't make me prove you wrong. Oh, there's another Alex. Alex, you got quite a stash here. I haven't even gone through this. Alex got quite a stash over here.
Is this the first $10 that you lost?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
10's an odd. No, we usually don't bet 10. It's usually a 1 or a 5.
Yeah, it sounded like you were getting cocky.
We doubled down.
Oh, he was confident about this one. He thought for sure he had a winner. He actually set his own over and under, which really wouldn't have made a difference. Yeah, even if you set it way higher, you still were going to lose. So
Abe changed the bet, but that's okay.
Those guys.
As usual.
Anything else you got going on, Coop?
Ron, that's it this week.
There's 2 O's and 2, Ron, but we'll discuss that later.
Coop, anything?
Yeah, anything for our guest, Coop. You always have some insight that we miss or something you want to ask Benjamin.
Yeah, Ben. I know when I had you on the show at the time, you launched the block, the soapbox, and the home. And one thing I thought was really interesting is that you've come out now with 3 other lines since then. But you did something kind of cool. You actually took Tola names from the old soapbox brand. You made them into their own lines. What kind of went into that a little?
I thought that with the names, they fit pretty well together, right? Rant, rave, and tirade kind of rhyme a little bit, and the idea behind them. So I wanted to just highlight them and give them their own platform, and it's I'm growing my portfolio, and I thought it would just, it gave me another excuse to kind of do a little throwback to the old Dissident days, but also play with some new tobacco and new blends that I really liked, and it just gave me that a great avenue to do it. And that's what I'll be highlighting at the show this year is Rant, Rave, and Tirade. Since they didn't get their show last year, I want to kind of put them on display for everybody. They did really well last year. They're doing great this year, and have some ideas for them later in the future as well.
Yeah, and you actually the Rave here, Connecticut. I think that's fantastic. It's a fantastic blend, and I think it's like really a Connecticut people need to pay some attention to right now. I think what you've done with that one is fantastic. So I want to call that one out.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's that one seems to be everybody loves a good Connecticut. That one's really, I think, is the one leading the pack in those three. And I have, like I said, I have some ideas with it. Hopefully, maybe next year do some line extensions on those as well.
That's good. And then you were playing with some like other things. Like I know you haven't played a lot with like Dominican tobaccos, and those blends were each playing a little bit with the Dominican tobaccos that are in there. Yeah,
definitely. I like Dominican tobacco. Even though we make things out of Nicaragua, Oveja Negra is able to get some really good quality Dominican. Really love Dominican Piloto, and that's what I want. This was kind of a way for me to kind of highlight that a little bit in those blends.
Okay, and then for folks who may not be familiar with like just Rant, Rave, and Tirade, like high level, what kind of cigars you expect wrapper wise, stuff like that.
With like you said, with the Rave, it's Connecticut, Ecuadorian Connecticut on it. The Rant is a Pennsylvania broadleaf, and then on Tirade using San Andreas.
Very nice, very nice.
Now, Benjamin, we had a question earlier on. What's the MSRP range of your line?
It's in that $8 to $11 range. The most expensive one I have is the limited edition Home, which comes at $14. I only do that once a year, and that's just because of the availability of that tobacco. There's some harder to get tobacco that have to go into it, but everything is right in that sweet spot, that average price range MSRP wise.
Cool.
Oh, yep.
All right, gentlemen, are you two ready for your number 2 reveal of Tail of the Tape? Season 2, Tail of the Tape. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Let's see who it is. Paul's not ready, of course.
Of course not.
All right, here we go.
All right, continuing the countdown of our top 10 greatest professional wrestlers of all time. Coming in at number 9 for me is The Undertaker. Undertaker stood the test of time, been around, still relevant. Guy had great finishers between the choke slam and the tombstone. Kind of hits all the marks, man. Had a great mystery about him coming out. Great managers. What the hell was his manager's name? God, I can't even remember. I should have had my notes.
Paul Bearer.
Paul Bearer, but Paul Bearer. But here's a guy who had legendary matches, the cage matches, and from what I understand, it was essentially for the longest time the gatekeeper of the locker room. He was like the locker room leader for the WWF. Go ahead, Coop.
Yep. All right, so my name is a name from the past, and it's many folks may not know, but it's Nick Bockwinkel. So Nick Bockwinkel was a wrestler primarily known in the Midwest, in the Minnesota area, in the American Wrestling Association. This guy was a great champion. Great scientific wrestler. He was he really psyched his opponents out when you do those promo interviews. He fought. Hulk Hogan and him had some wars. Before Hulk Hogan came to the WWF, Hulk Hogan had some wars, and Bockwinkel always seemed to kind of get the best of him there. This is a guy, like I said, he also beat Vern Gagne, a legendary champion as well. So Nick Bockwinkel is my ninth choice.
That's one I'm not familiar with, man. Gonna have to do some research.
He was a guy that, look, in the 80s, you'd have to kind of get a lot of these AWA matches on VHS tape. But I'd follow the wrestling magazines, and Nick Bockwinkel was always on the cover of those with Flair and then eventually Hogan. So Nick Bockwinkel, I think if he came around about 8 or 9 years later, he would have been a superstar name.
Didn't Nick Bockwinkel have like a show with a flying squirrel?
Yes. Here's the thing. This was Nick Bockwinkel. Bockwinkel was actually his name, so it wasn't like he had this like wrestling name they came up with.
How long ago was this, Coop?
He was 70s, like 1970 to 1987 was his heyday.
So I'm going to make a suggestion here. I think when you guys complete your top 10 list, we have a special guest come on to analyze your top 10s.
Is it Jeff Walsh?
No, I think we should get Jeff Walsh is dead to me.
Jeff Walsh is dying.
He's dead. Jeff Walsh is dead to me. He called me a cheater. He's dead to me. I think we should get Derek Dukes.
Derek Dukes.
Yeah, it's Smoke Inn Socialite, longtime smoking fan. We should get Derek Dukes to come on for a special segment just to give his critique of both your top 10s.
I love it.
I think that would make a great finish for this season.
He'd be all about it too.
Of Tale of the Tape,
and he'd have a lot to add.
I saw the Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I think it was Bret Hart in a triple threat match in Pittsburgh when I was a kid. Wow. And Undertaker won that one, of course.
Well, I got to tell you this. Send me that graphic, Alex, so I can make a post. But this season 2 has stirred up a lot more discussion on KMA than the boxing season. Absolutely. Everybody seems to be very into their opinions on the top 10 pro wrestlers of all time. Great season 2 pick.
Yeah, and by the way, for fake Alan Rubin, I am not putting the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase on the list.
Why bust his bubble now? You could have strung him on for 8 months.
I already told him. Like I said, the guy never had a championship.
I haven't seen him today or the last couple of days on Smoke Inn Social. I saw somebody did
he's around. He's okay. He's alive and kicking. I
think Alex might have gotten to him.
Well, I can notice he's not in the Smoke Inn Social.
He made a comment the other day, and I was like, "Oh man, you're just asking for more tags in Smoke Inn Social."
Right.
There he is.
He revels in the love.
Alan is one of the most loyal listeners we got, man. He really is.
He is.
He is.
When we did our show live here, because we started out doing it live in Boynton Beach when we first opened the store, Alan was in the audience every Saturday. Yep. Every Saturday.
Have you guys met any of the wrestlers on your top 10?
I have not. The only wrestlers that I never really met any of the like big guys. The only wrestlers I ever met was some of the ECW guys, because a lot of those were local Philly guys.
I met Hulk Hogan in Denver Airport once, Colorado. I was a youngin'.
I didn't meet him, but I saw him when I was a kid. We were moving to Japan when my mom got stationed there, and in the Tokyo airport. This was a few months before he passed away. We saw Andre the Giant.
Oh wow!
And,
was he a giant?
Yeah, he was.
And Japanese people are kind of they're small, so you definitely notice this dude walking in the airport.
I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been Real Sports or something, but my wife. Because my wife loves that show. It's such an odd show for my wife to love, but she loves Real Sports with Brian Gumbel. But
great show.
I think they did a thing on Andre the Giant.
No, I think it was his own. I think it was his own HBO documentary. I don't think
was it something?
It was his own. It was.
Yeah, I watched that.
Very sad to watch, man. Yeah. He really suffered.
Yeah.
I've known on and off for years Mick Foley, actually, 'cause he's a Long Islander and he used to come to games when I worked for the Long Island Ducks, and I've done a little bit with his stand-up. He's invited me to do some bits with him. He's a cool guy, but asking him questions about
Paul is utterly afraid to ask to come on the show for some reason.
Really?
We've talked about this numerous times. Paul brought him up.
Why not ask him?
Afraid to ask.
What is he going to say? No?
Give him a mandible claw.
That's right. He might hit don't ask him in person.
Listen, I love Mick. He's such a great guy, but he's beat down. Like their bodies really suffer.
I mean, we're not asking him.
What is KMA? A physical? Is he going to be? What are we going to put him in a ring?
We'll talk about it later.
I was a big fan of him.
Guy. He's a family guy, and I'll ask him again. I have asked him in the past.
And what did he say?
He didn't say no, but he, it's a long conversation. But I'll reach out to him again, especially while we're doing this. I was hoping that
he has direct ties to my number 10 pick, Terry Funk Cactus Jack. Come on.
I was hoping that that he'd be on the wait, Cactus Jack is not on your. Oh, you're saying to your. But I mean, that's my question. Is he going to be on the list? If he's going to be on the list, then I gotta imagine he'd come on.
He better be on somebody's list.
He gotta be, right?
We don't give away the list, Paul.
Was anybody a fan of the Von Erichs?
Yeah.
I was a huge fan of them.
Dude, like, didn't they like all die tragically?
Yeah, dude, I'm telling
one.
you, I always say this:
One.
if you have the Vice channel at home, there is an excellent series called The Dark Side of Wrestling.
Great, yeah, you gotta watch this.
Fantastic series. It's all documentary based, and they have one on the Von Erich. They have them on everybody, but it's that the whole other side of wrestling, that we don't hear about. Who died, who got killed, who was on coke, and all the good shit that kind of ruins our childhood.
Well, that's like that movie, The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. That was a
good movie.
Yeah.
Or Beyond the Mat when they went with Jake the Snake. Man, that was sad because he was like one of my idols growing up too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But they did a great one on the Von Erichs, Abe.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. Man.
Dark Side of the Ring's great.
I was really into the Von Erichs growing up.
I mean, David, when I was growing up, we all thought David was going to be the next great champion. And he was like the first one to die. And then they slowly but really all died.
Yep. All right. Well, that was week 2 of Tale of the Tape Season 2. And check in with us next week to see who makes number 7. No, 10, 9, 8.
8.
Number 8. Number 8 weeks. All right. In normal, traditional KMA fashion, it's time to end our weekly Saturday morning with nothing other than who belongs in a cigar insane asylum.
Welcome to the Cigar Asylum,
Did you know I'm utterly insane? We all go a little mad sometimes.
where logic and reason cease to exist.
One of my questions is, where did they get that picture of me? And I think Abe and Alex are frozen, by the way. But I don't know where the hell that picture is from. They just showed up with it one day, and
I was wondering that myself. I thought, I was wondering who did that.
Dude, it's not a promo picture of any kind. I don't know if we're gonna get Abe back, so I guess in the meantime, I will. Yeah, their internet pooped itself.
Wow, his internet's out. Wow, okay, Abe.
So I'll do this.
I've never.
All right. So this week's inductee really wanted to ditch the cops. Florida man John Henry James III, 36, is facing a slew of charges after a 40-minute high-speed chase when he tried to shake Indian River County Sheriff's deputies with a baby in the car. On the evening in question, a deputy tried to pull James over in Vero Beach, but he sped off and refused to pull over. Video shows him driving his white SUV into a police vehicle, dodging roadblocks, and even running over a set of stop sticks that didn't disable his vehicle as they were intended to do so. James led the police through residential neighborhoods in a high-speed chase, doing everything he could to ditch them. Finally, deputies followed him to an apartment complex, blocked the entrance, and James had nothing else to do but ditch the car. He tried to get away on foot, holding the baby in his arms. In an attempt to get away from the officers on foot, according to police and witness accounts, he threw the baby overhand right into an officer's arms to distract him. The officer caught the baby was unharmed, and the criminal, James, ran the other way. Wow, how low can you get?
Yeah.
Fortunately, he was caught and brought to justice later that evening. Congratulations, Mr. James. You're this week's inductee to the Cigar Insane Asylum. Wow. And
I don't have the paper. I was going to throw out a paper like Abe did, but
yeah, they actually released video of it, but I guess for purposes of censorship, they took out the part where he threw the baby. But the cop that caught the baby was in an interview saying that, obviously, what could I do? I couldn't. I grabbed the baby. I caught him. I don't know how I caught him, but they threw the baby overhand at him. No word. They haven't released whether or not it's his baby or not. But here we go. We got them back. Can you hear us?
Had to go mobile.
Here, turn your phone the other way so that it doesn't look funky. There you go. All right. Well, we just did the Cigar Insane Asylum. I just read it.
I didn't get to pre-read it, but I caught a glimpse. It was a Vero Beach guy.
I don't think he was from Vero Beach, but he was originally. They tried to stop him, pull him over in Vero Beach, but it was. Yeah, there you go, Quentin. The old catch the baby trick and run. But they got him anyway.
Connection here sucks. Can you hear us all right, Paul?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Well, we're going to close out the show. We hope you enjoyed this Saturday morning. We hope we entertained you for a couple hours. I can't get you. I'm trying to get you out. There you go. All right. There you go. Yeah. So join us next week as we have Sebastian de Capitov of Cavalier Cigars. Until then, keep it lit.
Thank you, Benjamin, for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Take care, Benjamin.
Thank you.